We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. Hello, everyone. Welcome into High School Famous. This is the Christmas month, or the holiday month, and so we're going to talk about stuff related to one holiday.
Yeah.
All month.
I think there's multiple holidays this month.
I know of at least 3.
Well, that's your opinion, man.
Did I know? I mean, is it an opinion to know something? Like if I say, I know what a balloon is that something that you can prove? Or is that just my opinion that I know what a balloon is?
I mean,
I think I could successfully identify a balloon. If someone were to hold, let's say in one hand they held up a balloon, on the other hand they held up a soggy sandwich, and they said, point to the balloon. I'm pretty sure I would successfully point to the balloon, and that would be a way to verify that I know what a balloon is. Or at least know the difference between... Oh, maybe it would prove that I know what a soggy sandwich is, and so I knew that the other object was not a soggy sandwich, so I pointed to the object that wasn't a soggy sandwich.
yeah, I suppose that doesn't necessarily prove you know what a balloon is. It just
Yeah,
it doesn't prove that you know what either one is. It just knows.
It either proves I know what a balloon is, or that I know what isn't a soggy sandwich.
Right.
And if you try to do that again, like with a balloon and say, a nice, crisp, tasty-looking sandwich, then I would already have gone, well, that was the balloon last time, so it's got to be the balloon this time.
Right. Or you'd also be like, well, that looks like just a crisper version of the soggy sandwich from earlier, so that's clearly the sandwich, so I will pick the other one.
Yes.
So it still doesn't prove anything, even if it was a different balloon.
I know, it could be a different color balloon, a different shape balloon. It could have been one of those... not those sort of like rubbery, stretchy balloons that you get in a bag just in the store, but it could be one of those sort of party balloons that are not as elastic.
Yeah, it could be a hot air balloon.
It could be someone's holding up a hot air balloon next to a sandwich and telling me which is which.
It's full of sand timers.
It's full of sand timers. To account for the varying sizes and holes that might be found in the balloon.
Yes.
I know exactly what you're doing. Yeah, speed 3.
Callback.
Speed 3.
Great callback.
You're patting yourself on the back for that one? That was your callback.
I was actually more so patting myself for the fact that you immediately remembered.
Knew what it was.
What
okay.
that was.
Fair enough.
That was like 100 episodes ago.
So that was
somewhere in
episode
there. It was a long
60.
time ago. I don't know if it was episode 60. It was a while ago though.
Well, according to Matt, it was episode 60. And if you hold up episode 60 next to a soggy sandwich, we don't know which one he will point to.
It was like 100. I mean, like doesn't mean it is. It just means it's like that many ago.
It's within the vicinity of 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Give or take, what's your upper...
Give or take 40 up or down.
40?
Yeah, because it's within the first 100 episodes. I know that much.
Well, then it couldn't be 40 up or down. Because then you're saying
within
that...
40 up or down of 60.
Oh, of 60. I'm thinking of 100. Yes, you're right. I'm like, it could have been episode 140 if it was within the first 100. Oh, we have fun here at High School Famous.
Sean, it is it's a monumentous day. I am on to a new notebook.
Shut up.
I filled my previous notebook. I didn't go front to back on all the pages though. I started doing that after a while. So there is backs of pages that are still empty. But that one, the very first stuff in that notebook is from where all the questions I wrote down when I quizzed you, or not quizzed you, when I was telling you everything that was wrong with the Back to the Future trilogy.
Oh, sure.
So that's the first stuff that's in there. That was like episode...
That was like 100 episodes ago.
25 or something like that.
Give or take 40.
I looked earlier at which episode that was, and I already forgot what it was.
Okay.
It was like 25 or something.
Does it say it in the notebook?
No, because for whatever reason, back then when when I first started writing stuff in the notebook, I was like putting down the date that we were working on it or nothing at all. It wasn't until pretty recently that I started writing down the episode number.
You know what's funny? I'm the same.
Somewhat.
I would have to check back to see when I started. But yeah, I was never marking it down either. I think we were we were decided on if we were going to be like, let's number our episodes like everyone else, or maybe we want to be edgy and not number our episodes to be, a little bit rebellious. So we weren't writing them down in the notebook. And now we're both flipping through notebooks, everyone.
I'm trying to see when
looking through notebooks.
Episode 103 is when I started numbering them.
Oh, I started way after that. At least episode 104.
Give or take 40.
Give or take 40. It was probably around 100 episodes ago, but way after 103. That doesn't make any sense. When did I do this? Everyone, before we get to the point where I find out, why don't you put in your own mental wager as to when I started doing it?
Yeah, everything was dates for me up until... Or wait, I think I have one random one in here where I wrote down the episode number. Episode 54, I wrote that down for some reason. Oh, yeah.
Well,
back in the 50s, I wrote 53 and 54 down.
That's in the 50s.
That was it.
You just gave up.
Then I gave up again, and yep.
I think maybe you were hypnotized.
What's crazy is, though, like, and this is so not interesting at all. Like, I had the questions in here for that episode, but it wasn't until I didn't start using this notebook to actually take notes for the episodes until the episode Just Tickle the Feet, which is like 10 or so episodes after that.
That's weird.
So I don't know what I was doing or what pieces of paper or other notebook I might have been using for a while. Anyways.
Okay. All right. It's time for you to finally, or whatever, your last chance to submit your guesses.
As to what number was the first one you wrote down? I'm going to go with 115. 115
is Matt's guess. I will not submit a guess because that's not fair.
Yeah.
The correct answer is 124.
I was almost going to say 120 something, but.
And I just wrote Ep 124, Matt Riddle.
Yeah. Well, there. Now we know which episode that was.
Yeah. So, if we want to continue on with the notebook talk, I am not even halfway through mine, which I don't know what that means. Either I write way less than you do, or don't you have like a thick ass notebook too? I don't know. What does this mean?
You have like what is that? Like a 3-subject or 5-subject notebook?
It's a 5-subject notebook.
Yeah. I just had a regular notebook with 70 sheets in it.
Oh, well, that's why. That's the problem.
Yeah. See, this new notebook I have is a smaller in size overall, but it is looks like a 2-subject little baby notebook.
So is it wide ruled? Is it college ruled? What kind of spacing are you talking about here?
It looks wide-ish.
The listeners want to know.
It's not stated anywhere on it, but it's pretty wide, pretty thick lines.
That doesn't help me.
I know. I'm holding it up to the camera like that's going to mean shit.
Yeah, and like your handwriting, what size that is. I don't know. You might write small. So let's recap, everyone. Matt is through his very first notebook he began using at the start of this podcast, and he has gone to a second notebook. That he has gone to a second notebook. I am halfway through my notebook, and I began writing down the episode numbers on 124. Matt first wrote the episode numbers down somewhere in the 50s, and then took a little bit of a break, and then he went to 103, and then started on from there. And his notebook, his new one is smaller in size, but has more pages, and mine is 5-subject, and it's a Mead 5-star with a green cover. Mm-hmm.
So, mine's a Mead 5-star with a green cover.
No shit.
Yeah, look at that.
This is yours. Mine's mine's
kind of like a foresty green.
Let's discuss this. Yeah, mine's more of a traditional green color. Whereas you have more of a foresty green color. See, this is astonishing. So, you know what is...
What's your favorite episode of High School Famous?
What?
This is the Notebook episode.
Let's just call this one the Notebook.
The Notebook.
Or the Notebooks. Ooh.
It's sequel to the... It's like Alien and Aliens. Yeah.
Yeah.
the notebooks. They're each writing in their own notebook now.
Well, before they
I
were
don't know what that
sharing
movie's
a notebook.
about at all. I don't know if it even has anything to do with an actual notebook.
The Notebook, I don't know either. I think that either the female character or the male character was writing about the other character in the Notebook. I could be way wrong. I just know I know that they have heartfelt moments in the rain. That's all I really know about it. So I couldn't tell you about. I mean, it's a love story.
Yeah,
very popular with the female population.
So I've heard.
Yeah, it made it so that if all of us men weren't like Ryan Gosling's character, we weren't good enough, which is great. Thanks, The Notebook.
I think that still stands for not just Ryan Gosling in general.
Not even his character. Yeah, if you're not Ryan Gosling,
Ryan Gosling, you're not.
I mean, he's dreamy, he's handsome, he's funny, he's smart, he's successful, he's got a great body,
musically talented.
He's musically talented.
Mm-hmm. He sings,
what does
dances,
he do?
and he plays piano.
Oh, because he was in La La Land. Did they do their own singing in that movie?
I believe so.
I've never seen it.
It's pretty rare nowadays if they hire actors and then have somebody else do the singing parts.
What?
This isn't a Disney movie.
Wasn't he, was he part of the Mickey Mouse Club or something? What was
I think he was.
Back
he was
a
Mouseketeer.
Mouseketeer, that's right.
Yeah.
I think
Musketeer.
Oh, but thanks a lot. Oh, no, I believe, if I recall correctly, I saw a young Ryan Gosling in a couple episodes of that old Goosebumps show.
Oh, nice.
I think he played the bad boy.
Oh no.
Which, fitting.
Yeah.
He could pull that off. He looks like a bad boy.
He could pull anything off.
He could.
I know what you're about to say. Could pull me off? Is that what you're about to say?
Ew, gross, Matt. Ew. You heard it here first.
I'd let him pull me off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope this gets to him somehow.
You sit there. You sit there and tell me you wouldn't let Ryan Gosling pull you off if you had the chance.
Why is this?
If he came up to you and, either
I would give him the cold.
Place,
I would give him the cold shoulder.
Would you?
Yeah.
If he walked up to you and said, "Hey, look, I'm Ryan Gosling."
The cold shoulder. The cold shoulder is what I call a stiff erection.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Just so we're clear.
Got it.
So he's going to walk up and introduce himself?
I mean, why not?
He's not going to assume that I know him already or know who he is?
It's pretty rude for anybody to walk up to you and just be like, you know who I am.
People do. There are people that will do that.
Yeah, but still. He's
Yeah,
like,
my
hey,
mom.
yes, it's me, Ryan Gosling.
Yes, it's me, TV and film star Ryan Gosling.
As celebrities introduce themselves, that's how it is.
Academy Award nominee. I don't know if he was ever nominated for an Academy
Tony Award winning. I don't know.
I saw this old clip of Jim Carrey at the Golden Globes, I think, or he was presenting at some kind of award show, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey," and then he walks up and he's like, "Have you seen this? You know what I'm talking about?"
Yeah, I've seen the clip. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Well, for the listeners who haven't, I'll just quickly
go ahead.
rush through it. So he's like, "I'm not just Jim Carrey, a regular guy or whatever." He's like, "I'm 2-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "And when I dream, I don't just dream any regular old dream. I dream about being 3-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey."
Yeah.
It's funnier when he says it, surprisingly enough, and the audience laughed.
It's always enjoyable with him because he always kind of, I don't know if he always felt this way, but he definitely got to a point where he just thought award shows were so pointless and stupid.
Well, I think
that's what was funny about it.
Yeah, he always kind of sort of spit in the face of that little world in any way. But yeah, I think even the idea of celebrity and stuff kind of rubbed him the wrong way, which is, why you go into acting.
I mean, it's not why people go into it, but
the other thing too is it's great to be a super famous rich celebrity and then go, celebrities, where he's living the lifestyle of one of those people that he claims to, be put off by a little bit.
He's probably put off by like the idea of it, just of like, hey, this is what I do.
It's probably like, leave me alone.
Like, yeah, it's like, it's
I'm
that
sick of people bothering me.
same thing of just like, I want some sort of like privacy and things that are to myself. So it kind of does get annoying, but
Look, I want enough money where I don't have to do anything for myself anymore, but I also want people to not bother me when I walk on the sidewalk.
yeah,
That's all I want. Matt, that's what I want.
Yeah, that would actually be fine. I'd be fine with that.
I'd let Jim Carrey put me off.
And you'd let him what?
Put me off.
Put you off?
Yeah.
What does put you off?
I don't know. You said that probably puts him off. And so I took a spin on pull me off, and I decided to say, I'll let Jim Carrey put me off. You must not heard it right. It was really great.
Yeah, I'll listen back later.
Yeah, and love it.
I'm sure I'll laugh then.
I don't think so. You're dead inside.
Yeah.
So let's get into the dad joke this week.
Oh, yeah.
Matt.
I forgot about that.
It's a good sign. Every week you're like, oh, I forgot. We have to do this thing. Don't worry.
Hey,
there's only a few weeks left.
We're so close to being done with this, unless you get another one.
So you can, Matt will be able to see this, but you can see how thick, and what's left. It's getting down there.
I would describe it less as thick and more as thin.
Right, but I mean, I guess I could
see how thick it was, yeah.
Yes, I was meaning to say how thick it used to be. No, but I read a few to my son. I said, hey, Leo, we're almost done, unless you're planning on getting me another one for next year. And I don't think he's planning on getting me another one for next year.
He wasn't too impressed.
Oh no, he's been dreading this since like January 3rd. So
I made a horrible mistake.
He did a year-long mistake. That's one of those things where the end, whatever. You know how long it's going to last. Sure,
gotcha.
But you can see, okay, it's good. This mistake, this suffering is going to last this long. There's a finite, definitive end to it. So at least he can sort of, live with that a little bit.
Yeah. Whereas if with him, you got that mistake the rest of your life.
I know. You can presume that.
Well, I mean, the rest of one of your guys' lives.
Yeah. All right, joke time. My dad always told me, don't be quick to find faults. He was a good man, but a terrible geologist.
Oh.
And if you thought that was bad, it's because the others were worse.
I mean, that one's all right.
Yeah,
it's definitely not the worst one you've read.
That's true. Let's run the clip of the worst one I've read.
Absolutely not. I am not going to spend a whole evening listening through a year's worth of episodes.
Oh, come on. All right. Well, if you guys are upset that we're not playing a clip right now of the worst dad joke I've ever read on the show, you can be angry with Matt because he's the one who doesn't feel like doing it. But that means you yourself can go through and pick out the one that you find the worst. My throat is doing this right now.
Yeah.
Yay!
Why don't you clear that thing? That's
better now.
Beautiful.
So yeah, why don't you go through and find your own worst dad joke reading,
yeah,
and then you can send us your picks. Maybe we'll compile the top 5 worst dad jokes read on the show.
We should have thought this through, and you should have saved each one that you had read.
That would be a very sad stack.
Yeah.
Of things. This is to assume that at least 5 people will submit their choice.
I mean, we're not going to get even one.
I know we're not. So it's a pie in the sky, wishful thinking idea.
There you go.
Boo.
Boo.
Boo indeed.
Boo. Boo indeed. Well,
I want to do that at a performance. Boo. Boo. Boo like that.
It's like a smelly boo.
So, last night I went to, the improv theater that I was frequenting called Huge Theater in Minneapolis. It had shut down to be relocated to a bigger space. And I'm not sure exactly when it opened back up, but it very recently opened back up. So I, for the first time for a while, went to some improv shows last night.
Okay.
And there's one that's called Family Dinner. And so how this one works is they describe it as a 2-act play. He said it's been going on off and on for about 20 years. So you may have.
I thought. No, I think you've mentioned it.
I might have described it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first is they're all family and they're all gathering to the place that will host the family dinner. And then they just sort of like go through their motions. And then someone says, dinner's ready. And then it cuts to act 2 where they bring out a table full of real food and they all just sort of finish the rest of the show just at the dinner table. And so at the beginning, people in the crowd can write down on slips of paper, a secret that, one of the family members is keeping from the rest of the family.
Right.
And they can choose to use that. So then they'll pick the ones they like. And then each person will get to secretly look at the one that's been assigned to them. And they can choose to use it in the scenes or not. They can choose to completely ignore it. So anyway, the guy playing the dad, his was that he tried hunting for the first time and he loves it. Like capital letters. He loves hunting. So he leaned into that real hard and how he took home this giant turkey that he hunted. And that's what they're going to eat for dinner. And anyway, the whole turkey element kind of got forgotten throughout the scenes or throughout the show. And then, because when they brought the food out, obviously it's like this tiny rotisserie chicken. So I thought the joke was going to be, this is this massive bird that he shot with. But then he's like, oh yeah, the cleaning and gutting, whatever, did not go well. YouTube was not helpful on how to prepare this bird. So we had to get this anyway. But then this one woman who played the mom, she nailed it toward the end. She goes, they were talking about relationship, whatever. And then she's like, can I change the subject? And they're like, yes, please. And she's like, now hypothetically, and she goes, and someone's like, oh, I love these kinds of questions. Hypothetically, what if you found yourself to have a dead eagle in your basement? And the audience went crazy. Like, this guy went out and shot an eagle and thought it was a turkey and brought it home. And the whole part of the thing about it earlier was that, yes, he decided to hunt, but he never got like a permit or a hunting license.
Oh, okay.
So he
just
already
went out
illegal,
poaching.
presuming it was a turkey, he already illegally shot that turkey and took it home.
Right.
But then it turned into a bald eagle. They had a good time with that one. That
nice.
That brought the audience to a good roar, which was pretty funny. So yes, that was a nice little return to seeing some good improv. It's been a while.
Nice.
Do you ever see it? Do you ever go is there any improv out there? A good scene for that out there?
There's improv out here. I just have not gone to any. I haven't really even looked up any. There's a Comedy Sports out here somewhere, and then that's where
I think that's where Gareth Reynolds got his start. Maybe Chicago Comedy Sports.
Okay.
I know it was Comedy Sports. Oh, of course. Second City.
Second City's out here, and there's a bunch of improv theaters and stuff, but I just have not looked into them at all. Yeah.
Is it because it would be something fun that you would enjoy?
It's honestly, it's just something I never think about doing. Then you bring it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, improv, and then I just never think of it. For somebody who's worked in improv, and I'm just like, I never think about going and seeing it, or like even like trying to go do it again or anything like that.
Yeah. Once I got introduced to long form improv, I was like, this is way better than, your Comedy Sports type of improv. They're both good in their own way, but I just prefer the long form.
Yeah. It's more of a story then. And
because I thought all improv was for years was basically just whose line is it anyway? Like that's what they did. So the end.
Yeah, there's definitely different types of improv. I guess I'm more used to short form. That's more so what I also did was short form improv. But
yeah, that's why I don't like it as much.
Because I ruined it for you.
Yeah, I loved it, and then I saw you do it, and I'm like, it can be really bad.
Yeah,
I've seen it, but I've also seen bad long form.
Yeah.
Blue?
You have bad long form. Burn. You've been roasted.
I declare it, which I will hope to improv. No?
No. Sean, you don't have improv training. Don't try it.
I don't have any improv training. I'm sure.
Complicated.
I'm sure.
I couldn't. You wouldn't if I tried to explain it, you wouldn't understand.
All right, Mr. Expert, like take us through if you were to host or hold an improv like 101 class.
Oh God, no.
How would you start? What would you say? All right, students, it's day one.
Like not even to try to like yes and you. Improv.
We're gonna do the mirror exercise.
No, because my least favorite thing about doing improv was like doing all the little like techniques to like get you going, like all the little improv tricks to like I hated doing that stuff. Yeah, the warm up stuff. I hated doing the warm up stuff. I am so much better at like playing off of other people. I'm really bad at like just starting my own thing and like starting my own scene and like trying to do something like that. But like getting put in a scene and then like starting that. I think that's kind of why I like short form in a way too, because you usually it's like audience suggestion and stuff like that. Yeah. So that gets you at a starting point. And then from there, you just start playing off the other people. And that to me is better than like doing the little exercises and the warm ups. You're going in very dry of just like, they're basically little games that you have to play. And I can't for the life of me remember how any of them went because I hated them so much. But you're just supposed to just start like spouting out random things of just like, just don't think, just say stuff, just go. And you sit there and you just like, you run dry so fast because you're not warm. You're just going in cold and it's so hard to just make your brain start doing that stuff, which I mean, I get that the warm ups are supposed to help you do that better, but I hated them so much. And I basically just almost rebelled against doing warm ups. I just hated them.
Yeah.
So I'd rather go in cold into a scene than go in cold into doing warm ups, you know? I always just played off people so much better.
I think I'm similar because whenever I see someone who's really good at just going out there and starting the scene off, or the ones who decide, all right, this is kind of dying, let's take this in a new spot, and they just go out there and take charge and get a new thing going. I've seen some people do that so well, and I'm so impressed, and I'm like, this is why I don't think I can get into actually trying to do this myself, because if I can't be at that level, what's the point? And I've seen other people that are up there that are just sort of reacting to what people that are kind of guiding it and leading it are doing. And I'm like, I would be more like that probably. It seems like this person's having a real hard time, not even coming up with a new thing to do, but also there's some people have a hard time even bouncing off of what other people are doing.
Right.
But
I
don't know.
I've seen and dealt with people like that. That's the people that, so obviously yes and is the biggest thing in improv, right? Yeah. Whatever the person's doing, you just jump on top of that and like build it. Like, yep, that's where you're going with it. Let's keep going. Or it's no, but if you're going to change the scene, you have to say no, but you have to have a different direction it's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've worked with people that were just no. They would kill a scene. It's the worst where you're just like doing this and then you're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And the other people are involved and you're going. And then this other person just comes in with just something that has nothing to do with it. And they're just like, nope, this now. And it's just like, what? Like they just kill the scene. And it's the hardest thing to deal with. And if you're in the middle of a scene, you have to just try to make it work.
Yeah.
That person's just like, nope. Like, oh, fucking all right.
How did they get there in the first place? Like, how did they end up being part of this performance? You know what I mean?
Well, a specific person that I'm thinking about, I'm not going to like delve too much. I mean, this person definitely doesn't listen to the podcast. I have no contact with this person anymore whatsoever, but, it was my last year at Fest and we had brought in a new person into the troupe who I can't remember exactly how our director had met this person, but they auditioned and it was like, okay, we'll probably work. They'll work. They're whatever. We did some practices and it was just like, okay, this is, we'll give them time to kind of get better at this. They're not the greatest at it. This person had no prior like training and like no performance, like at all. They'd never performed before at all, which is usually a bad sign. Don't bring somebody in who's never performed before.
Yeah.
But this person just constantly butted heads with other people in the group and would kill scenes, like awfully. Just didn't like the way the scene was going, so just wouldn't participate, basically.
So could the group have gotten by without, not just to say without that specific person, but it seems like they were brought in to sort of maintain a certain number of members.
Yeah.
So would the group have been fine with one less member?
We were, because that person lasted about 3 weeks and then we booted them.
Gotcha.
We said, nope, sorry. Because we were getting into like actual like arguments with this person, and like it was just.
Did this person did they seem like they wanted to do it? Like they wanted to be involved? Because
they wanted to be at Fest.
Oh. I
I think that was mainly what it was. Is they wanted to be at Fest and they wanted to be in entertainment at Fest.
Oh, they didn't. They could start off by selling pickles. Those people are entertaining.
Yeah, but then again, you have to be entertaining to be those people. This person was not entertaining. They ended up, I don't even remember where they ended up. We talked to the entertainment director. Now my throat's doing that. We talked to the entertainment director, and the entertainment director moved them out of our troupe and put them somewhere else. I don't even know where. I just avoided that person for the rest of that time out there.
One thing that really I didn't expect was, some show. I remember going to a couple shows and someone would come on and be like, "Oh, hi, I'm so and so. I'm the director of this show." And I'm thinking, what is there a director for? Don't you just go out and make it all up? So how is there? What's the use of a director?
I guess the director still is in charge and still runs everything.
Oh,
as far as like for our troupe specifically, our director basically set up all the rules and like, this is what we're going to be doing today. These are the shows we're going to perform. These are the times. This is where we need to be. Okay. So
gotcha.
Like we still had free reign during the shows to kind of do, what we're going to do and everything. But as far as where we're going to be, when we're going to do it, what we're going to be doing, that was all run through the director.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I heard that and I was like, a director? What are they, anyway, I couldn't figure out what the role was of a director of an improv show. So
yeah, I mean, well, as far as for comedy sports, they have they have X number of different games that they have in their repertoire, but they're going to play these games today. So the director is going to set all that up and be like, these are the games we're going to play in this order, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's that stuff.
Yeah.
But then that makes sense in a form like that. But in a long form, I'm talking about one of these long form shows where it's just basically like you get one suggestion from the audience at the very beginning and then you just go and it's anything goes. I'm like, what does a director do?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a good question to ask them at a show. Just be like,
yeah, that's what I'll do. Hey, what do you do? What's the point? Why do you exist?
Just be like, hey, I've just been curious as to like, what are the director's responsibilities during a long form show? Like, what are you responsible for doing?
I will say that, you go to huge theater and you go to this, they have a wall where there's just a bunch of old pictures of varying groups they sort of all have their sort of like a promo photo for all these different improv groups or shows that they've come up with over the years. And part of me is like, oh, it would be kind of cool to be up on this wall. But at the same time, I know me personally, I know myself, and I know that I would be like, I do not belong up on this wall. If I ever found myself up on that wall, I'd be like, I'm not part of this world. I don't belong on this wall.
Well, it's just, I don't know. It's just because it's at this point in your life, it's not something you ever really did. But it's like, sometimes I feel like I wish me and you would have kind of pursued that more when we were like really getting into it back in the day.
Yeah.
And just because we could have taken classes and auditioned for different things. And
well, part of it, like I said, for so long, I thought that comedy sports was basically it. And so I'm like, well, there's times where they have to like sing songs and make up dances and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try to get up there and make up a song. So stuff like that made me really go, I don't think I could try this. But maybe in my 20s, if I had been introduced to the long form style, I would have been maybe a little more willing to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, that
It
was
would-
improv. That was. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said it would. I always thought it would have been fun because we had talked about when I was still working at the booth out at the Renaissance. We had talked about trying to get you to come out
Yeah.
and do some stuff. But I think there's parts of that I know you wouldn't have enjoyed, but I think other parts of it would have been fun for you. But it would have been fun to have you come and do improv with me out there sometimes.
It would have been the thing for me for that with Fest is the amount of hours you have to put in over a weekend. And
Yep.
I know that I'm not all about Fest. I'm not going to,
Right.
I wouldn't be like excited to be there and that's what I'm about. So I would have a struggle to sort of maintain this sort of like performance energy all day long. And at the same time, it would be like, I'm not making enough money for this to be worth it to me.
Oh no, you make garbage.
To give up my,
you spend money to be there.
To give up my weekends for basically a month or whatever.
Yeah. 7 weeks.
So for almost 2 months, just to give up my weekends to be just hot and sweaty and gross and get paid nothing. It wouldn't.
It was so fun.
Well, I'm sure it was.
I absolutely loved it.
I'm sure that I would have had pockets of fun, but maybe not. I bet you I would have spent about 30% or 40% of the time going like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. When can I go home?
There's definitely days like that. When I was working in the booth, I made money. Obviously, I got paid to work there.
Right.
As soon as I joined entertainment, I got way less money.
Which is the opposite in the rest of the country.
Yeah. I think I got paid in doing entertainment. I think I got paid overall at the end of the year. I got paid about the same amount I would make in one weekend working the booth.
Yeah. See.
But I would also we could also get tips, which we barely got working entertainment. Right. Except for when, me and another troupe member found our little cash cow, which was when she started like slapping me with a slapstick at the end of the day. Yeah. When we would leave, she for a quarter, she would hit me and people would just start throwing money in and we'd make, I think our best day, we made $80 a piece.
Wow. That's pretty good.
If you think about it, every hit was a quarter.
That's a lot of hits.
Add that up. The first weekend
320 hits. 320 hits.
The first weekend
80 a person.
80 a person. Yeah, we made $160.
So double that. So 640 hits.
Yeah, on the butt.
That's stupid.
With a slapstick. It's ridiculous, and the first weekend was when we first figured that out. The first weekend was bad. Like when I sat down, it hurt. After that, it just didn't hurt anymore. You just got very used to it. Cause in the end, like a slapstick doesn't really hurt because it sounds like it hurts, but it's meant to sound loud.
Yeah.
But even in one session, like the first couple hits aren't too bad. Then it starts to kind of get a little stingy. Then towards the end, you're just numb. So
yeah, and you had never been that kinky in the bedroom, so this was something you weren't used to.
That's how I got it. Yeah, I got some new sensations out of the deal.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you were making some money, but underneath the surface, you were getting something else out of it.
It's good to love what you do, you know.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's sweat.
It's not really work when you love doing it.
Yeah, right. What do they say? If you do what you love for work, you don't work a day in your life, or whatever that saying goes.
Yeah. So those 7 weeks out of the year, not a minute of work out of me.
Wait, I thought you only did the slapsticky thing at the end.
Yeah, it was at the end. So that last hour and a half to 2 hours of the day wasn't working. That won't work to me.
Great. Well, Matt, that was all improv stuff. And one thing that you've done on this show that wasn't improv was one year you wrote a letter to Santa Claus.
That's true. It only took us 45 minutes to get to the meat of this episode.
Well, let's see how meaty this is.
Sometimes they do that.
We'll see how meaty this is. So I looked up this. Huh?
That's what she said. See how meaty this is?
Sure.
Said
I'll give
lady at the
said the wench
at the chili cooking contest.
Oh, is she a judge? She must be a judge.
Yeah, she was a judge.
Those chili judges, they're gonna be pretty badass.
Do they?
Yeah, you're taking down. Who knows what kind of spice level?
True.
These chilies are.
Okay. He agreed. Okay, we can move on. Those chili judges are badass.
So I looked up this list. Again, this is the opinion of the internet, or at least the writer of this particular list, or compiler of a particular list. The most hilarious Santa letters of all time.
Oh,
You were an adult that came up with a letter to Santa, but according to this, these kids' letters to Santa are funnier than anything an adult could come up with. So before we get into it,
I don't think mine was all that funny.
Just for comparison, we're gonna run the clip of Matt's Christmas.
God damn it!
letter
No,
to
we're
Santa
not.
Claus.
We absolutely are not. I'm not.
Ooh.
Sean, it is almost 5:00 on a Sunday. I'm not digging for clips.
It's not even 4:30.
If you want to hear it,
4:30.
it's in 2 different episodes. It's in whatever episode it was in, and it's also in the 100th episode. Just go back and listen to it there.
Yeah, the easiest way to find it might be the 100th episode.
Yeah, I mean that would
even though that
be the
one's
easiest
3
way
hours
for me to find it to put the clip in too, I guess. But
all right, come on. I just want you to pull a clip from another show.
You're trying so hard for me to have to do so much more work.
But this one makes sense.
There's just not enough time in the day for me to pull clips.
Yeah, because this one makes sense though, because we're saying it's funnier than any adult can come up with. Let's replay the letter that an adult came up with. I mean, it's doing a disservice to the listeners if you don't pull this clip. Anyhow, all right. This one just says number 1, $29 and not a penny more. My revised Santa list for Christmas, Mike Jr. Number 1, Black Ops 3. Number 2, PS4. Number 3, hoverboard. Number 4, golden watch. Number 5, $29. And number 6, 3 golden chains. The items on this kid's gift wish list for Santa are all pretty bizarre. A hoverboard, a golden watch, and 3 golden chains? But what most impressed his father, Twitter user at B_FN_G, cool guy, is the request for $29. Not $30, mind you, exactly $29. It's such a specific demand, and it just makes things more difficult for Santa. Sure.
Yeah. Santa doesn't have change.
I know. Seriously, you're going to make Kris Kringle break a 10 and show up with dollar bills?
He needs those.
Yeah, for all the parking meters and the tolls.
You can't put dollar bills in parking meters.
Well, what else? Oh, did he need them for the,
Use them for his elf strip club.
Yeah, when he finishes delivering all his gifts, he wants to go and wind down. Maybe get pulled off.
Yeah. He goes and sees all the girls that are on the naughty list.
Oh, there you go. The thought of Santa getting pulled off.
He only comes once a year, so.
Okay. Are you sure you don't do improv anymore?
Yeah, I don't. I definitely didn't make that up. There's plenty of really bad Christmas jokes that talk about Santa only coming once a year, so.
Gosh, maybe we should have done that. Anyway.
Oh, no, I tried. I looked some of those up. They're just awful.
Letter number 2. Don't drink and slay. Dear Santa. SLEIGH.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So not the Beyonce version.
Yep.
Dear Santa, if you want to grab a beer, feel free to get the lot or just one. P.S. The fridge is near the door. From Flynn. Anybody can leave out.
So Flynn didn't even ask for anything. He was just telling Santa he's allowed to drink his father's beer.
This is a note. Yes, this was not a letter sent to Santa, but a note that was left for Santa at the house, I'm sure. Gotcha. Anybody can leave out milk and cookies for Santa, but this kid knows how to really get on Santa's good side. Not only does he welcome Santa to grab a beer while he's dropping off presents, he also helpfully provides directions. The fridge is near the door, he writes. If this kid were our nephew, the one.
This house has one door.
Yeah, I mean, Santa, he comes in through the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably, I wonder if he even knows how to open a door. He writes, if this kid were our nephew, like the anonymous uncle who posted the letter on Imgur, we'd be amused but concerned by his offer of booze. So I don't know if you can tell by my demeanor. So far, I am loving the hilarity level of these letters, Matt.
Hey, they're funnier than my letter.
Anything an adult could come up with. Your status of adulthood is in question, though. Number 3, A Christmas Miracle. I wish my dad's truck will be unstuck. If Santa can grant that wish, it will be a miracle. What do you mean? Like, no adult can come up with this. This is not wild and out there. I thought these would be like actually long. I would like this and this and this for Christmas type of letters, but these are just like, yeah, get my dad's truck out of the mud. We're not sensing a lot of faith in dear old dad from Emily, who just wants her dad's truck to be unstuck. Where is this truck stuck and how long has it been there? She doesn't get into details in this letter shared by Mr. Valmer on Reddit, only suggesting that she's pretty sure Santa won't be able to accommodate her. If Santa can grant that wish, she writes, with just a hint of sarcasm, it will be a miracle. How do they know that there's sarcasm in her delivery? She's a little girl.
Yep.
Okay, let's go on to number 4, The Boy Who Wanted to Be an Elf on a Shelf. Did you grow up with Elf on a Shelf?
No.
Neither did I.
I'm not sure when that started, but it was definitely after.
Well, they go on, like, anyone who does it acts like it's some long-lasting Christmas tradition. Elf on a Shelf. And I knew nothing of it as a kid.
No, yeah, as a kid, nothing. I couldn't. It wasn't until maybe I've only known of it for maybe the last 10 years, if that. I don't even know.
Yeah, who knows? I'd say about the same, maybe 15. But yeah, it was definitely like, what is this Elf on a Shelf nonsense? Dear Santa, me and my little brother have been... What? Oh, this is odd. So the kid wrote Ben, like B-E-E-N, like we have been whatever.
Right.
But they crossed that out and then wrote Ben the name and even capitalized it. So they corrected it to the wrong Ben. Dear Santa, me and my little brother have been trying our best to be good. But first things first, I would like to be an elf on the shelf. I have been practicing. I can sit on a shelf for like a half hour so far. And my brother, Michael, would love to be a reindeer, in fact. He's practicing right now. He can fly 2 inches. But here's what I want for Christmas. And then that's the end of the letter. Well, so this is a little more fun.
I've been practicing. I can sit for a whole half hour at least. I just imagine this kid sitting on a shelf for a half hour, motionless.
Well, I'm imagining that the kid is sitting on
jumping up and down on all fours.
I'm imagining that the kid is sitting on a shelf, and then after 30 minutes go by, the shelf falls off the wall because it's not made to hold his weight.
True. And
the kid being able to fly for 2 seconds.
2 inches.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, he can fly 2 inches. Does that mean? What does that mean? That's all the farther this kid can jump.
He's not flying. He's jumping.
Right, he's jumping.
Well, on all fours. It's not easy to jump very high on all fours.
I'm imagining he's on his knees. 2 inches. Ouch. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, to mimic a reindeer.
What was that? You can beat 2 inches?
I'm pretty sure I could beat 2 inches. So I'm told. It's great that this kid has been practicing.
You pull off 2 inches?
When I pull it off, it beats 2 inches.
Saying I can beat 2 inches is another way of saying I can pull off 2 inches.
No. Saying you can pull off 2 inches is just saying that's you can meet 2 inches. But beating 2 inches is exceeding.
How are you spelling meat?
B-E-N.
Nice. For the record, Elf on the Shelf started in 2005.
Oh, okay. So it makes sense that we knew nothing of it as children.
Yeah. We were no longer children.
By 2005, I was not a child. Not yet a woman.
Yep.
It's great that this kid has been somewhere. Yeah. It's a gray area. It's great that this kid has been practicing his elf on a shelf skills, sitting on a shelf for like half hour so far, as he writes in a letter posted by Mama in the Forest on Instagram. But he doesn't really. Oh, come on! Like you would have read that.
Mama in the Forest.
It's one word. Like you would have read that correctly the first time. Good God. But he doesn't really need Santa's blessing to make a career of this any more than his brother Michael needs Santa's permission to be a reindeer. Though we're pretty sure Santa would agree with us that we need video proof of Michael levitating 2 inches off the ground. That's not exactly what he said.
No, not at all what he said.
That he could fly for 2 inches.
Get out of here, Mama Maine.
Yeah, Mama Maine the Forest.
I'm going to be honest, though. A kid sitting on a shelf completely still for a half hour, it's long
Impressive.
enough for me to
Yeah.
be like, that's an elf on a shelf. Because I'm not going
That's a
to,
long-
I'm not going to sit there and I'm not going to second guess that. Like, as soon as I walk into a room that has a kid sitting motionless on a shelf, just staring into the void, I'm leaving that room. And I'm also going to be very good. I'm not going to be naughty while there's a kid just sitting on a shelf staring off into a room. You know what I mean? Not like, I'm not going to do anything sinister,
yeah.
but like, if I see that happening, I'm like I'd be too freaked out to do anything.
Okay.
So I'm obviously not going to be like, I'm not going to do
naughty.
anything good or bad. I'm just
You're
going
not
to be
going
like,
to get naughty.
I definitely wouldn't get naughty if there's a kid in the room.
Hey, 30 minutes is longer than you ever lasted. All right, number 5, bring the
On a
pony.
shelf.
I don't know. I guess anywhere.
My shelf life is less than 30 minutes.
Your shelf life is less than 30 minutes. Bring the pony or else.
Oh.
You better bring me a pony this year or there will be consequences.
Is that it?
That's it. But the kid underlined better and will. So
Oh.
you better bring me my pony this year or there will be consequences. And he drew a pony. Now,
Hunter will feel his cold, dead hands.
Yeah, to say that this is my pony, I think he's accusing Santa of stealing his pony.
Oh.
That he already owned at some point.
Got it. That makes more sense now.
Yeah. So if everyone would read this the way it's meant, this shouldn't make the list.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have you ever asked for a pony?
No.
Neither have I. I have no memory whatsoever of anything I may have written down as what I want for Christmas in a letter to Santa.
I don't think until this podcast I had ever written a letter to Santa.
I don't know that I had either.
Like, I would make a list of things I wanted, but that would go to your parents or like family members who were going to buy you stuff.
Yeah, I remember doing that. And also, it was either Sears or JCPenney catalog. I forget which one, but you would kind of circle the things that you wanted from the catalog. Yeah.
I don't remember ever getting anything out of those.
You see, kids, a catalog is a giant book that used to be mailed out to homes, and it would have products that were offered by the store that published the catalog. Mm-hmm. And you could write in with this. Did you have to call it in, or could you fill out a sheet at the back that had
you could fill out a little thing and like send it?
That had like the item numbers and stuff, and you could say, I want these items. And you probably had to include a check for the amount that the items would be, and then you would get sent those items.
That, or you would circle the items, then your parents would take that and then go to the store directly, where the store would then be sold out of those items, and then they would have to get you something else that you didn't actually ask for.
Or if you were my parents, you would tear those pages out of the catalog, crumple them up, and light their cigars with them.
I thought you'd at least say like light the fire, like use it as kindling for a fireplace, but they just crumpled them up and then lit their cigars with crumpled up pieces of paper.
Well, they lit the paper and then they used the burning paper.
You think they could just use whatever they lit the paper with to light their cigars? Yeah,
but this is an extra little, it's an extra little dig. And same thing with, like your thought was that they use it to light the fire and keep the house warm. That would mean that all of us benefited from that heat. Whereas they just selfishly, we're just going to use this to light our cigars, meaning we are the only ones that will benefit.
The insides of our bodies.
Exactly.
They're not benefiting. They're doing harm to themselves.
Oh, I think we know where this one's going. Number 7, Santa needs more veggies. He's packing on a few. I'm sure Mrs. Claus would agree. Dear Santa, I think you are a fat man. And I'm not leaving you any cookies because Mrs. Claus said you're on a diet. You need to stay away from junk food and don't eat too much on your trip around the world. That's why I'm leaving you vegetables this year with ultra skim milk. I hope you lose some weight because will all those toys and you... Wait, I hope you lose some weight because will all those toys and you I start to feel sorry for Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, and Rudolph. I think I understand what they're trying to say there. I sure hope you brought everything I asked for. Well, since I didn't see you this year in person, I hope to see you next year. Our first thought was, as we read this letter shared by Sliggity Sly on Imgur. Is it Imgur or Imgur?
Imager.
is it IMGIF?
It's Imager.
Imager, okay. Is that the kid writing it is probably concerned. What? Oh, I'm lost. Is probably concerned about St. Nick's health, but nope, it turns out she's mostly concerned about the toys. The combined weight of Santa's girth and all those goodies promised to kids around the globe, including the letter writer, might be more than the reindeer are able to carry. Sensible.
You know, Santa's girth wasn't something I thought I'd hear today.
No, only internally.
What?
It's only something I would think about.
In his internal girth?
Look, I'm concerned about Santa's girth, so I'm going to leave out veggies for him. I'm on the same wavelength as this kid.
Okay. Does your kid still believe in Santa Claus?
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm not sure what the cutoff for that is anymore.
Well, I mean, I think it varies per kid, but he's been sort of wise to, like, the fact that, you know, it's not a tooth fairy that leaves money under your pillow. It's the parents. Right. Like, he's been wise to that kind of stuff for a really long time. He was very young when he kind of just going, like, yeah, I know it's not some magical fairy doing this. I think part of the, you know, if you are parents that aren't the most, reliable when it comes to remembering to put money under a pillow for a tooth, that can really damper the fantasy pretty quickly. It's like, well, I guess the tooth
kind
fairy,
of parent you were?
Well, we would both be like, oh, you know, he'd wake up and we'd be like, oh, there wasn't any money under my pillow and the tooth is still there. We're like, maybe she forgot or didn't, you know, we would just say something and then like we'd have to remember it. And he would also claim that whenever one of us would go in and like make the switch, that he would be like, yeah, I saw you swap out the tooth for money last night. We didn't have a good solid run of you know, that being successful. It got shot down pretty quick, but you know, maybe it's all for the better.
Yeah.
All right. A unicorn with digestive issues. I want a rainbow unicorn that poops ice cream. P.S. I better get it too. From Hunter.
Thanks, Hunter.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna argue that so far all of these letters an adult could easily come up with. Yeah, this stuff. I think that when they make a statement like that, either they themselves are just not imaginative and creative, or they're considering the general population as not very imaginative and creative.
Yeah, I also think a lot of times stuff like this is only funny to parents. But then you're a parent and you don't laugh at this stuff either. Cause I mean, it's that like, oh, kids are just so dumb. They're just say the darndest. They're just things. They just, whatever comes out of their mouth, they don't really know what they're talking. But it's like, as a person who doesn't have kids, I don't find any of this stuff even remotely funny. But I think, and there's a lot of parents that are just like, ugh, this is stupid.
If it's your own kid, you get that amusement out of it. But even, like the fact that these are other kids, I could kind of go, oh, that's, you know, how cute is that or something.
Right.
But I'm not sitting there going, this is hilarious. I think it only works if it's your own kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why that is, because why would you not think that your own kid would come up with something like this or be creative or conjure up these ideas in their mind? Why would you think that your kid is going to be devoid of something like that when all kids do this? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think for some reason, sometimes parents just kind of don't expect that their kid will do or say something like this. And so when it does happen, you're like, oh, this is so, I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know why.
It's that thing of too, though, like when that stuff happens, yes, it's funny inside the bubble of your family.
Right.
When people put this kind of stuff out there, like, my kid is so crazy. They said the craziest thing. And then you relay it secondhand to somebody else. It's just, it doesn't have, there's no emotional attachment to it. There's no, like, I don't know. There's just, it's different hearing a kid say something weird and crazy and then being told it secondhand.
True. I will say the same thing goes for the whole turkey eagle thing I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you maybe have thought it to be mildly amusing, but there was just something about the timing of it and the fact that you had gone through the whole rest of the show. It's that element is missing when it's secondhand. when it's told through someone else. But to be in that theater at the time, just her timing of that, her delivery and her timing of that was perfect. And it just, the audience went crazy for it. I think this is a similar thing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What do we got? Should we just keep rolling with this? This is great.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Yeah. Let's knock a couple more out. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah. Well, I think we only got like 5 or 6 more. One vicious baby brother. Dear Santa, I don't think they put A-R-E. I don't think our baby brother should have presents this year. He is hurting us and he said you are trash. So think about giving him presents. From a nice boy, Thomas.
Oh.
I'm thinking they meant to say
you are trash.
Yeah, I do like that.
Santa's trash.
What a specific thing. Yeah, the kid really going around saying Santa's trash. This letter, posted by Reddit user WPack56, would have gotten our attention. Yeah, a WPack. Yeah, how many is
interesting, that? Interesting,
yeah. It's like
it's an
what do you call it?
Formation of
it's 16. You know, like a V8, and then there's a W16 engine. So, I know cars. This letter would have gotten our attention with the Santa Claus misspelling alone. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Claus is written like, animals' claws.
Yep.
But what really sold us was his insistence on throwing his baby brother under the bus. Hey, maybe he's being honest and his brother really is hurting the rest of the family and actually has been talking smack about Santa. That could all be true. It just seems suspicious. That's all we're saying.
Do they say how is this brother that's bad, older or younger? Does it state?
Baby brother.
Baby brother. Okay.
So younger brother.
I was hoping it just said my brother, and I was just imagining that it's like an actual like adult brother.
Yeah, like it's someone in
that's hurting the family because he's actually like he's abusing drugs or something.
Yeah, he comes home like in a drunken stupor every day, and he gets violent.
Yeah, and then
that'd be funny.
Fucking trash.
Yeah, Santa's trash. Let me knock down this tree. I would do that. Number 10. All he wants for Christmas is his lizard back.
Oh,
this is another animal theft.
Is this okay? It's an animal. It's not like he has like a weird scaly back.
No, his lizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He got his dick cut off.
He's got a lizard back. All right,
dear Santa. Yeah, this is a child. Dear Santa, please find me my lizard. I miss him so much, too, and I only had him for 1 day, so please find my lizard. I gave you and your reindeer some treats. P.S. That's all I want for Christmas. P.S.S. If you find him, can you give him to me because I will put something over his bucket so her or she can't get out, and I'll clean out his or her bowl every time it gets dirty, and I won't put him or her with the crayfish. So please find my lizard. To Santa from Ross.
You won't put them with the So did he originally put them with the crayfish?
I don't know.
I mean, you're saying this lizard. So this sounds like he caught a wild lizard.
Well, yeah. I'm sure they didn't go to the pet store and buy this. Yeah.
So just find another lizard.
Yeah. Then there's a drawing on the letter of first of all, there's actual pictures of these letters, and then they typed out what it said. So I've been reading what's been typed out. I haven't really been giving the actual letters much attention. But there's a drawing of a lizard, and it looks like I can't tell what's going on. Either the lizard is licking the crayfish, like it's just shooting its long tongue out toward it, or the crayfish is pinching the lizard.
Okay. I think he put the lizards with the crayfish. The crayfish probably ate the lizard.
Yeah. Do they eat lizards?
I mean, they probably would or could.
Yeah. It's kind of sweet that Ross, perhaps this Imager user, MN Rossi Ross, who posted this letter, didn't take the obvious tactic and ask Santa for a new lizard, because that's definitely something Santa could have helped him with. But finding a missing lizard who somehow escaped from his cage, that's a trickier request to accommodate. We feel for you, Ross, and kudos to the evocative illustrations.
Yeah, well, you know what they say about Santa, just like they say about Batman, best detective. He'll find that lizard.
If Batman's the best detective, then how can Santa be the best detective?
They're both the best detective.
And I thought Columbo was the best detective.
What do you actually know about Columbo? Because you mentioned Columbo more than anybody else in my life.
He always
Which is to
solves it
say,
in the
you've
end.
mentioned Columbo maybe 3 or 4 times since I've known you.
He
But what
said,
do you know about?
Not
what
even
do you
since the
know about
podcast.
Columbo?
I don't know.
You
Peter-
gave me a birthday card once that had Columbo on it.
I did.
I probably still have it somewhere.
Was it Peter Falk? Is that his name? Is that the guy's name? Anyway,
I don't remember.
Columbo, he always had some kind of crime to solve, and he always did it at the end. And he would always go through his, well, there's no way it could have been you because of blah, 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 blah. And then he would like pause, and he would go something like, but actually, or, but no, just wait a second, or, oh, but there is just one more thing. And he would like then turn the whole story around and reveal why it is that person that committed the crime.
I will take your word for it.
Very
I don't
dramatic.
think I ever watched a single episode of Columbo.
My mom loved Columbo.
Okay.
And so it was on TV a lot. At least once a week. Oh, let's see. This is not starting off good. Is there a backup Santa?
Oh.
Seer Santa. Now that's a typo by whoever did this, because I'm looking at the letter and it says Dear Santa, but they typed Dear Santa. So, Dear Santa, my name is Ella and I am 9. I have a question to ask you. What happens if you get sick on Christmas Eve? Would you have a backup Santa if that happened? Happy holidays. I only celebrate Christmas. From
That's the best thing I've heard so far.
I know. From Ella. P.S. Santa, how old are you? Because you've been around for generations.
Oh,
Yeah.
just generations.
Yeah. Really sticking it to Santa. You get this one kid that's like, hey, how old are you, old man? Are you going to die soon and be replaced?
Yeah.
And then the other one's like, hey, Santa, you're pretty fat. You need to lay off these cookies and milk. I'm going to leave you some veggies.
And also you're trash.
Also, you're trash. So what we can gather from these letters is that kids think that Santa is fat, old, and trash. Don't lie. It's something you've always wondered. One guy travels the world every year to deliver presents, and he's the only one who can do it. Thank you, Ella, for finally asking the tough questions that we all want to know. And thank you to
finally
Reddit user,
asking the question that everyone's always asked.
always been asking, yeah. And thank you to Reddit user Fuzzyhead171 for posting this letter. Number 12, Santa with a side of fries. I want to order a French fries, a computer, and a chicken nugget.
Yeah.
We totally get asking Santa for a computer, but the other 2 requests, well, you know that getting some French fries and a chicken nugget, seriously, you want a single nugget? Don't require waiting till Christmas, right? You can get both fries and nuggets fairly easily. I mean, you can get a computer any time of the year, too.
Yep.
And for just slightly more than the postage it cost to send that letter. I don't think so. Posted by Rick and Chick 760 on Instagram to Santa. This
Chick
is
nuggets are almost right there. Chick.
I know.
Freaking chick. You're halfway to a
Rick and
nugget.
Chick. You're halfway to a nugget, nowhere near a fry.
No. It's the story of my life. I don't know what that means.
Please leave before 6 a.m. Dear Santa, please leave before 6 a.m. My alarm goes off at 6. P.S. My stocking is on the left. This doesn't ask anything about what they want.
Right.
We have so many questions after reading this letter posted by a Redditor who sets an alarm on Christmas. And why so early? Turn off your alarm. Also, we're pretty sure Santa can find your stocking on his own. At least if you'd stop giving him such restrictive time limits. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either. Number 14, giving Santa an existential crisis. Dear Santa, I'm only doing this for the class. I know your naughty list is empty, and your good list is empty, and your life is empty. You don't know the trouble I've had in my life. Goodbye. Love, I'm not telling you my name.
Well, at least it was with love.
Yeah. We sense a lot of hostility in this. Your life is empty, Santa Claus.
You're fat, you're old, you're trash, your life is empty. Give me those nugs. I want a stocking full of nugs.
We sense a lot of hostility in this letter posted by Michael Rahmani on Reddit. And we're not entirely sure what this kid is implying about Santa. His naughty list, sorry, naughty as in Notty, that's what he wrote, is apparently empty, as is his good list, which means what exactly? That he's terrible at record keeping? That he doesn't actually monitor the behavior of children? And what's with that last diss? Your life is empty. Wow, that is harsh. Way to go all nihilistic on Santa Claus. All right, let's see. Number 15. Yeah, well, one left. Let's close it out.
Let's do it.
No sense in revisiting this. Keep your middle finger down. Dear Santa, I am so good and never say bad words to now one. What? I am so good and never say bad words to now one, not to my parents or the middle finger to Santa from Josie. P.S. Am I on the good list? That was confusing. Dear Santa, I am so good and never say bad words. Makes sense. To now one, not to my parents or the middle finger. Maybe they mean to no one?
Maybe.
I never say bad words to no one, not to my parents or the middle finger.
She doesn't say bad words to the middle finger?
I guess not.
Yeah.
Josie clearly understands that there are only two things that matter to Santa Claus. One, have you said any bad words to your parents? And two, have you displayed your middle finger to them or anybody else? No? Okay. You're all clear then. Josie, whose letter was posted by Sparky Brown on Reddit, is officially on the nice list. Girl Sparky Brown. That's what we got here. We got these insanely hilarious letters to Santa that are so funny. No adult could possibly come up with this.
I mean,
I disagree.
I disagree that nobody else could come up with it, and I also disagree that they're so funny.
Yes, I'm in full disagreement of this list.
I could easily write things just as not funny as that.
The only thing I agree on is that these are letters to Santa. Well, I should say some of them. Some of them are just notes left for Santa when he visits their home. Some of them are... I was surprised that there weren't more that were actually asking for things.
Yeah.
There were so few. There was just some of them that were like, hey, you're fat and trash. Don't give us presents. And some were like, bring me my pet back.
Yeah. Or give me my pony.
Yeah. Yeah.
I demand my pony.
I think this person wanted 2 fries and 1 nugget or something.
I mean, that's the only thing. Two fries and 1 nugget is the only way that it would cost slightly more than the postage.
Yeah. I saw this one video called 2 fries, 1 nugget. It was gross.
What happened in it?
Well, the fries, they
go on.
They they were undercooked.
And
the nugget was overcooked.
Oh. So what happened?
They tried to. It was an animation. Yep. And they started off just sort of, the fries were chilling at home, and they needed their cable fixed. Okay. So then the nugget came to the door and said, "Hey, I'm the cable guy. Do you fries need your cable repaired?" And then the fries were like all undercooked and soggy, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's right over there, sir, behind the TV." And the nugget said, "Okay, well, it's pretty low to the ground. I'd better bend over to start fixing it." And then the fries were like, "Ooh, we like that."
Then what?
Then
couldn't possibly be where it ended.
That was Act 1. And then, the nugget's pants started to come loose and fall down.
So why was the nugget wearing pants? This is the nugget we're talking about.
Because it's the 21st century.
Oh, okay.
And the fries were like, "Ooh, whoops. Looks like someone else needs their cable to be worked on." And then they started working the cable guy's cable.
Okay.
And remember, he was overcooked. And so then...
He was a little pent up.
He was a little pent up. And then so the actual issue at hand, which was the non-working cable television, was abandoned completely. And they just went into the bedroom and they started having an orgy.
Oh.
It was a threesome. Serving for one.
So who goes in what?
And
where
none
do
of them,
you-
none of them wore a condiment.
Nice. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Zingow.
If you have a question, complaint, or threat for Sean or Matt, you can reach us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at hsfamouspod. Or you can email the show at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. No animals were pleasured during the making of this podcast, despite our best efforts. All hail our Lord and Savior.
Ryan Gosling. He's dreamy. He's handsome. He's funny. He's smart. He's successful. He's got a great body.